lounging, son.
Welcome back to another episode of Off the Shelf at the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to be going through fantastic paintings of Frazetta. Frazetta, who is one of my favorite painters, favorite artists of all time. You probably know his stuff. He's done stuff like the Death Dealer, which is one of his more famous characters that he's painted. A lot of Conan stuff. He's done some comics as well. But what he's mostly known for are his paintings. And I figured, my wife being a huge fan of Frazetta as well as me, I bought her this as a gift, which was kind of a little gift. She's been influenced heavily too with her art with Frazetta, so I thought, why not go through this? It's a beautiful book, beautiful hardcover, and let's jump into it, man. First, you see, like this is drawn. This is not. I don't think this is painted. One of his drawings, and if you notice the date, it's in 75. Also, here we have some loose ink work, also done in 75. So this book is going to vary in. It's going to jump around over his career. It's all over the place, but seriously, some of the dopest stuff I've ever seen. J. David Spurlock is the one who curated this and has an afterword by Frank Frazetta Jr. Vanguard Productions it's a company that produced this. Very heavy paper stock, really nice. I can't even. Just came out this year actually. I ordered it pre-pandemic. Took a while because of the lockdown and everything, but about a month after lockdown, I had almost forgotten that I ordered it, and I was pleasantly surprised when I saw it was on the invoice from Diamond. And I can't even tell you how amazing this book really is. Seriously, one of the best artists of the 20th century, hands down. So here we got the table of contents. A few words about Frazetta by Michael Whelan. Fantastic art of Frank Frazetta by J. David Spurlock. And then we have a gallery of paintings starting on page 22, and then the afterword and the bonus folio, which is only in the deluxe edition. We don't have that here. So we got a few words by Michael Whelan, who is an artist in his own right and has done album covers and book covers for people like Stephen King, Ray Bradbury, Isaac Asimov, stuff for National Geographic. So he just, gives his thoughts on Frazetta. We have Stormbringer by Michael Whelan, actually right here. And then we have the guy that curated this book himself, and had relationships with people, like Steranko, Joe Kubert, Carmine Infantino, and award-winning author, historian, and just an advocate for creators' rights. And he has done a great job with what he did with this book. I love this too, right here, this painting, this close-up. You can even see the canvas, which I don't think I've ever really noticed before in any of the other Frazetta books that I've bought in the past. I think that's really cool. Got some notes on this. This is called Caveman, written, and it says originally deemed too violent for comics. Famous Funnies Buck Rogers artwork was later revised for Weird Science Fantasy 29 cover. Just the detail that he puts in the. That's always something that I've really loved about him too. It's very anatomically correct. It's very detailed. You can see the muscles beneath the skin. That's always been something that I think really stands out about his art. From Heroic Comics number 94, and this was done in 1954. You can see that his style is a lot different from these earlier days than the later days in the 70s. This is another one of the Frank Frazetta books. I believe I own that. I think there was 5 of them. Yeah, 5 of them. It says right here. I don't have all of them. Some of the, obviously they're out of print, but those are amazing as well. They even have some of these comics and sequential storytelling. As I said, he's done Tarzan stuff. Got some Stone Age stuff. This is from a cover to Tarzan at the Earth's Core, done in 1962. More covers that he did back then. Awesome picture. Look, this is Frazetta with movie producer Edward Summer, and George Lucas happens to be there with a Frazetta art book right underneath his arms. And a quote from Frank Frazetta, which is kind of cool, is George Lucas told him that his famous funnies covers were an influence on Star Wars, specifically 213 and 214, which are right here on the Death Star, and Chewbacca. Very cool, dude. And now we're going to get into the gallery of paintings. Just his color work is just, it's phenomenal, man. Again, you can, maybe it's not as easy to see on the screen, but I mean, you can just see like the bones and the muscle, the curvatures that he does, and it's so realistic. But yet he also delves deep into the fantasy with a lot of his work. This one was always a favorite of mine. My wife actually did a drawing of it, and I didn't even realize. I'm like, man, that looks familiar. You know, when we first met, and lo and behold, she's like, oh, it's Frazetta. And I'm like, and you know, right off the bat, I mean, we kind of clicked on that. Some of his cover work for some Ray Bradbury stuff. This is actually referred to as Spider-Man. No hyphen. That's a creepy ass fucking looking painting too. That was done in '66. More cover work for Robert E. Howard. This is the cover. It's called Green Death 1. Cover of Wolf's Head. Green Death 2. This is the preliminary. This is unpublished, and this was straight out of book 4 of the Frank Frazetta books I was telling you about. Another one of my favorite covers. I first discovered this on the cover of Heavy Metal. This was the cover to Creepy number 16, though. And this is Cat Girl. I think we see her in a lot of other paintings as well. And then we get the different process, the preliminary to the original 67 version, first post-publication alteration, second post-publication alteration. This is the third post-publication alteration, fourth post, and then this is the current revised version, and it was done in oil, and it was finally completed in 1985. Just the fucking moss on there. I love this one too. This is another one of my favorites. A Fighting Man of Mars, another cool one. A lot of this stuff, Edgar Rice Burroughs, I mean, he did a lot of cover work for some of the more famous fantasy and sci-fi writers of the time. We got a cover from Eerie. It's just really cool to see these paintings, like, or these pictures of the paintings up close, because you can, you know, you're able to see the canvas. No other book have I purchased from Frazetta have I been able to see these things as up close as you can see them here. The Apparition. He's always drawn horses extremely well also. I love this one. Woman with a Scythe. Oil on Masonite, done in 1969. This is the first printed as a cover to Vampirella number 11. Of course, this wouldn't be a Frazetta book if we didn't have a Conan painting. Another awesome image. And as I said earlier, Death Dealer, probably his most famous character that he created. I mean, it's everywhere. This character is on, I mean, in comics, on shirts, on mugs, all sorts of stuff. I mean, just the different, you know, magazine covers. American Artist has it on their Starlog. Heavy Metal, Frank Frazetta Fantasy Illustrated. Then this, you know, it's the cover. Oh no, this was for collector cards. Then this is the cover of the book we're currently reading, and for an actual novel that was designed around the character. Close up, Death Dealer, statues, more magazine covers. I mean, just a very popular design, very cool character. Egyptian Queen, another of his famous paintings. And you know, throughout this, I don't want to get into too much detail about what's being said, but you know, I like that they're kind of describing what we're looking at and the kind of the stories behind each painting, and we get the process of, you know, the original painting, original preliminary, and you know, the revised. That looking at this book for the first time. So this is interesting as well, is that Princess Leia's famous bikini from Return of the Jedi is actually inspired by Frank Frazetta, as told by the costume designer. That's really cool, man. I had no idea. And it also says that this sold for a world record 5.4 million at auction, the original. Another famous cover from Eerie magazine, Queen Kong, giant woman standing on top of a building, fighting these soldiers in planes. And it's interesting also, it says that it was based on a concept by Wally Wood, also famous cartoonist. And I think this might be one of the more famous Conan pieces that he did. Simply titled The Barbarian. See, it was first printed as a cover. We see the oil on the canvas right here. And the preliminary sketch done on 4.25 by 7 inch. Done in graphite and colored pencils. Even that, I mean, look at that. Just a preliminary sketch how detailed he is. Got a war scene here. I mean, it literally almost looks like you can touch this as if it's the painting and feel the texture on it. These are just amazing scans of the original paintings. Wild Ride. I've seen this in a lot of the Frazetta books that I have. Color of the Sky, the Sand. I mean, this is another beautiful painting that just amazing. This, I've always been partial to this. I know these animals are so lifelike and realistic, and you know he's talks about how he painted Death Dealer and Silver Warrior back to back. He'd been sitting on his laurels, just going through the motions. Then there was a rumor that disturbed him, that he was washed up and hadn't done anything major in years. They chopped me up for dinner. That's loyalty for you. It made me decide to show them the old spirit. I sat down. Death Dealer is born, then the Silver Warrior. In some ways better than anything I'd ever done. And that was a quote from him from preview number 54 in 1984. He said that. I mean, I don't see how he could think he's washed up, man. I mean, this one of the greatest, like I said, one of the greatest artists of the 20th century, hands down, of all time, actually. Got Conan the Buccaneer. Executioner. Always known for these like striking poses with minimal stuff going on in the background. Just the foreground is all he really uses, such as this art before that we looked at. Luana movie poster that he did. It's breathtaking. His art is just, I mean, another one. Recognize these from some of the other books as well. The Night They Raided Minsky's. This is a watercolor that he did. Uncensored painting intended for the movie poster, and it was first published in Movies International number 7, 1969. Here we go, some more Tarzan. More stuff for Creepy Magazine, Uncle Creepy. That is a fucking haunting picture. Conan the Conqueror, more Conan. I mean, he did so much Conan, so much Tarzan over his career. Got Dana, I believe is her name. More of sci-fi thing, which you don't see too much of him with the sci-fi stuff. I would say it's mostly fantasy, but definitely has that 60s vibe to it, just like between the style of dress and just like 60s sci-fi movies is what he's definitely heavily influenced by. These more creepy covers. Look at this one, man. This one's fucking phenomenal. Caveman running away with this woman set in the prehistoric era with dinosaurs in the background. And here we have the afterword by Frazetta Jr. Extreme close-up of this painting. Again, you can see the canvas. Phenomenal. Get some pictures from the Frazetta Museum, which is it says within 90 minutes of both New York and Philly. It's in Pennsylvania. Lord of the Rings, we have Frodo confronting a ward. A lot of Lord of the Rings drawings as well. We have the Frazetta family, a pen and ink drawing, and some more Frazetta stuff that you can find. Reference books, Johnny Comic, like I said, he did some comic books, some sketchbooks. I have a couple of those. Maybe I'll dive into those in the future, and then just some of the other stuff that Vanguard does. I mean, they do a lot of stuff with a lot of the, classic artists. We got some Joe Kubert stuff. We got some Steranko. We got some Joe Simon, some Carmine Infantino. Just all sorts of awesome books. Steve Ditko down here. And that is Fantastic Paintings of Frazetta. If you're not already following us, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Comic Lounge. Throw your comments or suggestions down below, or you can email us, thecomicloungepod@gmail.com. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you're notified every time we put up a new episode. We are on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts. We are on there as well. And on that note, I'm out.